talked about Meg a minute ago, about its box office. Well, I had a chance to go and see The Meg last night. Me and my buddy went to one of our local AMC. I love this image, actually. This image is great. This image, by the way, is not in the movie. But anyway, so went to go see The Meg last night. What did I think about it? The Rotten Tomatoes scores right now are roughly, the last I checked, they're pretty much split. The critics seem to be pretty much split. It was at 49%. That's essentially saying half the critics like it, half the critics don't like it. The critics are in total disagreement over this film. Now, I am a fan of Jason Statham. You guys all know this. I love him in the Fast and Furious movies. I love him in the Crank movies, some of the best just balls-to-the-wall, ridiculous action movies ever. I love him in, whether it's Snatch or Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking. I love Jason Statham. I think he's great. But he is a very particular kind of actor that you need to put him in the right kind of roles. And here's my general thoughts of The Meg. Jason Statham was miscast. This isn't the right kind of movie for him. And you could sort of tell right at the beginning that this really wasn't the right kind of movie for him. It just wasn't a good fit. This giant shark movie with him wasn't a good fit, and you could just tell that right from the beginning. And again, I say that as an unapologetic Jason Statham fan. But he just felt out of place in this movie. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to define that and to quantify that. You just have to be watching the movie to get, he's a little bit out of place here. Then the movie, there's two different kind of halves of the brain to this movie. There's the half of the brain of the movie of when they're in the water and the shark is in the movie. And then there's the other half of the movie when they're away from the water and they're away from the shark and it's just story and narrative and character interaction. Here's my thoughts. When this movie is in the water and it's dealing with anything about the shark, it is a tense, exciting, kind of nerve-wracking kind of experience. And I mean that in all the best ways. Like the way they build tension in the water with the shark and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you what, all that stuff worked. All of it worked. And I found me and my buddy were both kind of jumping on our seats a few times. And it's not just because of jump scares, it's because they lay a foundation of great tension and then pop a jump on you and then makes it really effective. At times, it is a very exciting movie. Like I said, the tension is really there. All those things you kind of want to feel in what would be a giant shark movie, you feel, and they do quite well. And I thought the shark looked great. I think they did a really good job with the scale of the shark without overdoing it too much. It works on that level for me. However, there's the other half of the movie, when they're not in the water and the shark isn't there. And you're just set there and the movie's relying on the acting, the character interaction, the dialogue, and the narrative going on. And that is a weakness to this film all across the board. And it starts with, like I said, Jason Statham, who's just out of place. This wasn't the right movie for Jason Statham to choose to be a part of. And I cannot wait to see him in Hobbs and Shaw and getting back into that element that's really his element. But this was a character that did not lend itself to Jason Statham's strengths. And again, it's a hindrance to the film. I found for me, as a Statham fan, it was a hindrance to the film moving forward. The dialogue is terrible. Now, you don't go into a giant shark movie expecting Shakespeare. We understand this. But there's still a certain level of quality you expect, and it is terrible dialogue. Really forced, awful emotionalism in here and there. And just, it felt like actors not really having any sense of direction. One of the highlights, I gotta say, we've been talking a lot about Ruby Rose recently because she was just cast to play Batwoman in the upcoming CW Arrowverse crossover stuff. And I've said I have no idea what to think about because I've never seen her really act. I mean, I saw her in John Wick 2, yes, but she didn't really act. We just saw her physicality because she plays a character who doesn't speak. I've never watched Orange is the New Black, really. I've never seen anything other stuff. So I said, I have no idea if this is good or bad. I will say this. I actually thought Ruby Rose, she was a smaller character. I thought she was if not the best performance in the movie, one of the best performances in the movie. Well, I expected when she started to speak that I would be cringing, but she probably gave the most believable delivery out of anybody in the movie, to be honest with you. I thought she worked. And I gotta say, there's this little Chinese girl in the movie, and she's just adorable. Sometimes these movies try to put in like a little boy or little girl, and they're meant to be adorable, and you're just like, but this little girl, you just wanted to eat her up. I mean, you just wanted to take her home. She was so adorable. And she played it well. She did a nice little job for a little kid in the movie. And so on that level, it worked. So you got two halves of this movie, so I'm a little bit torn. I'm going to say this, though. I'm left about whether do I recommend the Meg or do I not recommend the Meg. I got to say I don't recommend the Meg. Yes, there's definitely redeemable things in there. Yes, the tension, the action, the stuff with the shark, the scares, the thrills, it's all there for half of the movie. But the other half of the movie is so badly done that it kind of detracts from the stuff that they did well. So, yeah, I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. It's not a terrible movie. There's too many redeeming things about it to call it a terrible movie. But overall, if you were to ask me, hey, John, should I invest my Friday night? Should I invest my Friday night and my money into going to go see this movie? I would probably say, you know what? Maybe go see Ant-Man and the Wasp or The Incredibles 2 again or Mission Impossible Fallout again. You might be a better investment of your time and money to see something else. But if you're really looking forward to it, check it out. And if all you're looking for is the thrills and the big, shark stuff, you might get something out of that. You should check it out. So just by a little bit, I'm going to say I don't recommend The Meg, which is too bad because I've kind of been looking forward to it.